Welcome everyone to this session. I think we are perfectly on time, so I can start my introduction to Luca Torri's presentation about humanities in technology. That's another crucial topic that we are going to develop and deepen over this conference. And I'm very much pleased and honored to have Luca Torri with us. I will tell you about his profile, which is worth mentioning, I think, especially because we talk about innovation, we talk about new learning ideas, and Luca Torri, who is CEO at Stu Reggiane SPA, he based his experience on organizational learning and semantic knowledge management. Working in this field, he had the opportunity to interact with companies, universities, and research centers. He was a founding partner of eLand, a company based in Reggio Emilia, which offers information systems for knowledge management based on semantic approach. In the past, he led technological innovation project in the public administration and was a consultant for new technologies for private companies. Being convinced that widespread innovation is achieved through interinstitutional cooperation, and we really much agree on that, and that local systems must come together to create stable networks of relationships to seize the opportunities of the new market, he has promoted several technological innovation actions at national level. From 2014, he managed the Stu Reggiane corporate organization, a public-private company which aims to rebuild an historical industrial site of the city of Reggio Emilia, and you have actually the opportunity to visit this place today because Luca is connected from there. To make it again a place where innovation and knowledge work together. Stu Reggiane is now developing and boosting the Reggiane Parco Innovazione, Reggiane Innovation Park, a new European hub at the service of businesses and research. Currently made up of Reggio Emilia Technopole, a technical hub for industrial research and technology transfer, Loris Maraguzzi International Center, the research laboratory of education system in Reggio Emilia, and many innovation companies. The park is to play a pivotal role in the development of the local area based on the knowledge economy, the place where the area's hallmark skills are concentrated and in which the system of innovation created thanks to the interaction between the public administration, businesses, and research become more organic and effective. So it was worth spending some time describing the important activity that Luca Torri is carrying out in this specific area in Italy, because this is the actual realization of a different way of interpreting technology and technological development in a true area, in a true sense, in the way inclusion and true development can be carried out. So he will talk about artificial intelligence, the use that we need to have about artificial intelligence that will lead to a new technological world. That's for sure. But of course, it is also true that different risks are matched with the development of artificial intelligence. There's a risk that is no longer based on the lack of information access, but on the inability to manage and understand the digital world. So that's why humanities should always be linked to a new interpretation of technology. I think that I spoke too much, and that it's time to leave the floor to Luca, that will tell us about, first of all, the example, the reality that is a real center for excellence all over Italy. And of course, about this new way of interpreting technology, artificial intelligence, and development. So thank you for being with us, Luca. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Antonella. If you agree, I'll talk about this place at the end of my presentation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
No. I like to start with other things. I want to first of all thanks the Learning Idea conference for give me this opportunity, and thanks also Professor Antonella Poce, because we started collaboration, and I'm happy to be here to present even this situation. So other two words about my, I'm sorry, I start the presentation. Good, thanks a lot. So other two words about my experience, because I used to be a technician and a consultant for more than 20 years. I was a consultant in organizational learning and knowledge management. Then I started the company, but almost all my life was in the IT sector. And since 2014, I'm the CEO of the Innovation Park in Reggio Emilia, and I'm very excited for this week.
I don't know if we lost Luca.
I'm really sorry.
Here you are. Here you are.
We got a problem.
Something happened. Yeah.
Something happened with the network. Okay.
Yeah, it must be the connection, but we can hear you at least. So.
Okay. Today about these things, I got a proposal in mind. So we all know that in creating.
Luca, your mic is off.
Now it's okay.
Now it's fine. Yes. You're right.
I don't know.
No, it's
okay. Okay. I'll restart. We all know that in creating a brand new technological world, artificial intelligence brings with it a strong risk of producing an environment where people may be unable to understand the digital world and to manage it. This will create a new kind of digital gap. So I have to share again. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe it's all correct. Okay. Okay, this new world we create a new kind of digital gap. While in the past 2 decades, information was difficult to gather, and therefore only those who had access to it had decision-making power. Tomorrow we'll have an excess of information, but as a paradox, even less decision-making power. We all have the illusion to be able to have access to everything today, and that this alone will improve our lives. The risk of overconfidence in this new scenario, attracted by digital honeypots, people could embrace technology without understanding it, thereby giving up social control, and management of technological impact. Indeed, only a few big names in technology sector will end up knowing how information, preference, and personal data are gathered and combined. Only those who are able to control this incredible amount of data will know how to manage them, leaving the final user, us, with no knowledge of processes and therefore no understanding of it. This is the real problem and may have devastating consequences of our lives. For that, I will provide some disturbing example later on. Okay, so the challenge now is to be able to handle this technological impact without creating a new form of distance with and among people. We have to understand the boundaries of this technological war and whether and how it can and will be worldwide or not for people. Not just useful or harmless, but worldwide. And this is the key topic. The impact of technology improvement, but was always disruptive in all societies in the past and also in the present in many countries. But I think we have learned a lesson and we know we need to ask some questions in advance and avoid negative consequences as much as possible. It's a matter of turning a challenge and a possible crisis into an opportunity of growth and improvement. At the same time, this approach might be an added value to technological progress, thus improving it. Okay, without going too far, talking about privacy, cybersecurity, and so on, let's just think of some consequences of technological progresses. And in this case, we have focuses, of course, on artificial intelligence that we need to take. Okay, if we think of energy sector, artificial intelligence use raises some issues, positive and negative. The more artificial intelligence we rely on, the more energy we need to feed data center and so on. So artificial intelligence causes pollution. General services on the web, especially with AI, are energy intensive. In current years, we talk a lot about electric vehicles, but not about the electricity consumption of the data centers. For example, the Bitcoin system uses more energy than the entire Netherlands, twice as much as Israel. If the web were a nation, it would be the fourth producer of carbon dioxide in the world. Again, in the UK, a study confirmed that useless email produces the same CO2 of more than 3,000 diesel cars. And we have to think about Instagram. Every day, more than half billion people access the social network and post pictures. So are we sure that Instagram is carbon free? How many data centers do we have to feed to store that quantity of data? Has anyone ever questioned you about uploading a photo of your children? Probably not, but in that case, be aware that you're leaving a clear carbon footprint. Well, with AI, we will expand the web and the data centers, and we have to deal with this problem. Speaking of electric cars, yes, their use reduce pollution, but it's only with autonomous driving through artificial intelligence that we can avoid consumers' misuse of resources and negative drivers' habits in order to maximize the impact of electric mobility. The use of renewable sources to produce energy is essential nowadays, but to make it really efficient and manage the production use ratio, artificial intelligence is fundamental. So artificial intelligence will sooner or later be part of each aspect of our lives. But where is the limit? To which extent are we ready or willing to accept its role? Now, you will excuse me, but it's the time for that disturbing example I anticipated to you. Okay, the example is this. Imagine two cars in a mountain road, opposite direction. In one car, two elderly people with a grandchild. In the other, a young couple. The young woman expecting a child. She's pregnant. In one car, a tire blows, and there will be a collision. And this collision cannot be avoided, no matter how. It's artificial intelligence that decides. So, who's going to die? The question is, who's going to die? So, can we allow an algorithm to decide something like that? Who is actually deciding? Artificial intelligence will replacing God or the fate. You know, this is an ethical question, and maybe it could be seen in different ways in different countries. Is the algorithm different from country to country? What happens if I cross a border? Will the algorithm change while artificial intelligence is driving my car? We will have in our future an electronic voice that informs us with a message like, you've just crossed the border of the state of Canada, so the system switches to something. You know, I'm sure today we are not close to this situation. We still have time to take advantage of that. But technology today can still be controlled. The idea that artificial intelligence is replacing humans is overrated, in my opinion. But for example, with quantum computers, the situation will be very different. We might not be able to control it anymore. Quantum computing will create new scenarios, and if they get the floor, research orientation will be polarized from the engineering side and towards the technological approach alone. Because technology is led by people who have faith only in technology itself and speak only tech languages. So, who produced this technology? Are we as citizen or professional, public institution, private enterprise, entrusting technology with this task without ethical support? AI is, for now, and will be for a long time, a black box, because the value lies in the construction of the algorithm, which, if revealed, make those who created it lose power and money. I think that algorithms which deal with ethics problem must be open. You know, I want to know how they have been developed. For example, let's think of the kind of data presented in databases using support processes of AI. We have to focus on a couple of problems. At company levels, AI works only when a huge amount of data, only if a huge amount of data is available. And this is possible in the case of industry 4.0 application, because, you know, indeed, machines produce a lot of data. But for other industrial application, this might not happen. So we might need data from many different companies to train algorithms, and these algorithms, in this case, will tend to flatten. The second, learning transfer is also complicated. An algorithm which happens to be perfect for a certain domain might well be useless or inaccurate when used in other applications. Human beings are excellent at transposing interpretation model, machines are not. And AI is a special purpose intelligence, so human intelligence is a general purpose one. Okay. If we think of more general algorithms, we should ask ourselves, where do these data come from? Privacy and discrimination are at stake here. Okay, I don't want to be only negative or pessimistic. I'm aware about the benefits of the AI. I'm a former technologist, and I do know how AI could improve our lives. But starting from now, we have to look at this innovation at 360 degrees. In general, my question is, can we find a way to tackle the issues I mentioned? I think yes, and it is humanity in technology. So those who are experts in human science should help develop artificial intelligence, not just set limits and restrictions in their different fields or of activities, statutory regulation, laws, and so on. We need cooperative and combined approach, an alternative model to produce artificial intelligence together. And how we deal with artificial intelligence will shape the world we will live in. So it becomes pivotal to develop artificial intelligence not only with a technological focus, but with a human-oriented focus. Technology is never neutral. We can take it at face value. Its value depends on how it is developed. So to have a positive impact on society and make our lives better, technology must be ethical, transparent, and inclusive. We must think ahead and shape the way artificial intelligence will be used to solve problems, and we are not even aware of at the moment. All actions implemented today by institutions or through the collaboration between companies, university, and public administration are not yet aimed at building an overall vision of the problem, and usually tend to consider only a small part of the issue, thereby generating micro solutions for macro problems that become therefore irrelevant. What is missing is a systemic approach capable of taking into account a plurality of factors as education, sustainability, people needs, privacy, and generate the vision of the future. The scenario we have in front of us is rich and to some extent stimulating. I'm very happy to participate in this journey in this historical period, but at the same time, I can see how this path is disjointed and the approach too fragmented to represent an effective response to the needs of people and communities. Efforts today are mainly focused on one and sole goal, making the world of AI richer, more accessible for everyone, and with increasingly useful services. But so we are still focusing our attention only on the production side. Technologists and the researchers are convinced that by making the production of AI-oriented services more consistent with the needs of citizens, it is possible to provide effective response to people's needs. But you know, the more we move forward with the customization of services and systems, the more we are unable to see the overall frame. So we risk creating complex but top-down prepackaged services. This will indeed lead us to advanced technological services disconnected from the environment, for our communities and for people. Okay, let's see another example of how technology can get out of hand if not oriented correctly. The World Wide Web project was presented at the CERN by Tim Berners-Lee as a content network connected also from a cognitive point of view. The indexing giants like Google turned the web into a network with few connections. Without Google or other search engine, it is basically impossible to use the web. Tim Berners-Lee says he regrets his creation and is working on the solid project, a network connected by linked object data and with the ability to manage data with the highest level of privacy. This example brings to the surface a real issue, the governance of the platform. And it is quite clear that technology governance cannot be established because it should have a worldwide dimension. But I hope in the future we will be able to ensure a sort of organizational learning of the web. And probably this is a dream, but I want to keep, this guideline always in my mind. Because we're not simply facing that technologically challenge. The true challenge is to build a meaning around artificial intelligence. So everyone, citizen, companies and institutions must be aware of the deep meaning that the use of these tools can assume of their advantage, but also their problems. This can be done with the help of educational and training science, with psychology, philosophy, sociology, the arts in general, which can build the bridges between research, industry, and society. Alongside the huge investment in digital technology, it is therefore essential to invest in the development of critical thinking that encourages an overall rethinking of the social role of technology, hybrid thinking that brings balance between divergent ones, the technological culture and the humanistic culture. Okay, but how we can combine technological factor with humanistic one? Okay, now let me tell you a little story about a particular city of the north of Italy that I hope will inspire us to embrace this approach. Okay, the story is the story of Reggio Emilia. Reggio Emilia is located in the northern part of Italy, at the heart of the Moto Valley and the Food Valley. It is a part of Emilia-Romagna region and one of the more productive and prosperous regions in Italy. Reggio Emilia is commonly defined as a city of innovators by tradition. It is an industrious and inventive community with a natural predisposition for international relation and dialogue. To achieve its goals and adapt to changes and progress, Reggio Emilia has leveraged an important values like community, human-centered approach, and cooperation. A reference to this value will help you to understand how we are able to keep economy, technology, humanity all together through a strong sense of responsibility and commitment. Meeting together for the same purposes and sharing values. It was not easy, and it's still not easy, having to face continuous changes and new challenges. In the official logo of the city, you'll find that Reggio Emilia is the city of people. What does that mean? That innovation, strategies, growth, and development should involve and give voices to Reggio Emilia's citizens. A sense of community, indeed, has always been at the basis of the city identity. This shaped Reggio as the city of social capital. We keep working to build a participatory and inclusive city without barriers, where citizens can feel like protagonists and collaborate in the protection of the common good. Welfare policy and good quality of service have given safety, cohesion, and recognizability of the city. This model is based on a strong public sector with a high level of integration with the third sector. And it is also based on innovation thanks to investment in professional skill and awareness of citizens. Reggio Emilia is also known as the city of cooperation because of the long history of cooperative movement and the number of cooperatives still present in the city. We have to go back to the second half of the 19th century to find the first example of cooperation and social services provided by mutual aid society as a response to the economic and social needs of working classes. At first, consumer association as well as production and labor cooperatives were created. From the early 28th century to the present, cooperation has developed in new sectors, always following the 8 founding principles. Innovation by tradition, one vote for person, mutual help nurture, no speculation, solidarity between cooperatives and mutuality outside the cooperatives. In short, individuals come together because they have the same purpose. The cooperative spirit has been able to guarantee and maintain over the years a strong social cohesion and a fair distribution of well-being. The cooperative movement always look forward, deeply rooted in the community and constantly innovating. Cooperation in Reggio Emilia has met the spirit of its community, oriented towards doing together and facing even the most difficult moments without renouncing at shared well-being. From the 70s, new cooperatives were created in sectors like culture, education, the environment, and social service, strengthening collective values and rights. Today, new challenges are faced, and so we have community cooperatives to valorize small villages in decline and to improve life conditions for their inhabitants, or worker buyouts, which mean that employees of a bankrupt enterprise form a cooperative and take over the business. This is an alternative model for development that Reggio Emilia continues to spread. Speaking of skills and craft, today to be competitive, the city decided to embrace innovation, not only from a technological point of view, but above all from an intellectual point of view. Indeed, we are working at the transition from the Emilian model based on know-how, efficiency, trusted skill and crafts, ability to do and to manufacture, into a more dynamic Emilian European model. The latter focuses on creativity and research, on cognitive and relational skills, and on cultural approaches in order to compete in the new knowledge society. In our view, innovation must combine technological development with humanistic knowledge and social innovation. To these ideas of identity and innovation, we add our way of life, our lifestyle that focuses on individuals and communities, on responsible protagonists, on sustainability, cultural work and quality, creativity and being together. Okay, the city is also the city is the city of urban regeneration. One of the most important examples is the Innovation Park. Here we are in the Reggiani Innovation Park. The realization of this park consists of the urban and infrastructure regeneration and development of a huge abandoned industrial area where the mechanical factory of Officine Meccaniche Reggiane was once located. It is a cultural and historical memory recovery project in a district that was central to the economic and social development of the city throughout the first half of the 20th century. From the Officine Meccaniche Reggiane to the Innovation Park, the city has managed to build a history of resilience and innovation, but by reshaping the past in order to build an innovative future. The Reggiane, created in 1904, had indeed to constantly adapt and innovative its production and process for keeping up with the market as well as the changes of society. We could have decided to buy this area, dismiss all the historical buildings, and build new premises from scratch. And it would be easier, cheaper and easier, and believe me, less stressful. On the contrary, we decided not to build a nice modern complex that would easily turn into a cathedral in the desert, but to regenerate the past to build the future. Okay, to do this, the city decided to start a participatory and shared process with all relevant stakeholders to connect the construction on the park with the strategic vision of the territory. Another important point of our city. We are the city of education. It's very important for us because we are known in the entire world for this experience, the Reggio Emilia approach. And the first preschool in Reggio Emilia was opened in 2062 by a charitable financial institution for those living in poor condition. In the 1913, the municipality of Reggio Emilia opened the first municipal preschool that then closed by the fascist regime. But after the Second World War, the Italian Women's Unions opened 60 preschools managed by the union itself in the province of Reggio Emilia and built on the basis of participation. A specific example, in 1945, selling a German abandoned tanker, 6 horses and 3 trucks, the inhabitants of Villa Gaida, that is a local neighborhood, built a school for local children. And they said, we build the wall, of this school together, men and women, because we want it to be new and different for all children. So, participation is a cultural and social legacy that still characterize our educational system. In the 60s, Reggio Emilia set up its own network of preschool services and educational content and forms of organization were defined by the administration together with parents and teachers. In the 1971, the municipality, together with Loris Malaguzzi, who was pedagogical coordinator of the city's new early childhood services, introduced Infant Toddler Center 403. By investing in education from an early age, the city invests in people and their ability to become active citizens, and therefore a first asset of innovation for a community. Okay, in 1991, Diana Municipal Preschool, an example of Reggio Emilia infant toddler centers and preschool, were presented by Newsweek as the most advanced in the world for early childhood education. In these schools, a particular education approach was applied, developed by Loris Malaguzzi. An educational philosophy based on the idea that children and human beings possess strong potential for development since the early years, and they are full of curiosity and imagination and have the right to find connection and meanings in all the experience. To promote this educational philosophy, namely the Reggio Emilia approach, Reggio Children International Center for the Defense and Promotion was created in 1994 by the municipality with the support of local citizens. Later, the Fondazione Reggio Emilia was established in the Loris Malaguzzi International Center to promote international quality through research. Every year, the center hosts more than 110,000 visitors. Of them, at least 5,000 are teachers, educators, researchers from over the world. The International Center is located in a former cheese factory, because here we do things like that. And this is part of the Reggiane Innovation Park. So Reggio Emilia is an artistic community where politics and administration give people the chance to have a quality of life, to work to improve themselves and their society. One of the most important characteristics of the city is the industriousness of its citizens, together with the value of the work. Therefore, let me end this second part of my speech with the sentence of our garden, our professor in the Harvard Business Review said, my favorite example of a ethic community is a small city called Reggio Emilia in the north of Italy. Children feel that the community is taking care of them. So when they grow up, they give back this nurture by taking care of others. They become good workers and good citizens. So that's the sentence of our garden. Okay. And now I want to move to the final stage of my speech, namely the proposal. Yes, because I think we can launch today a proposal because we have an economic and cultural challenge await us in our next near future. And the protagonist of the next few years will have to rebuild the foundation of the economic and social community with new forms of action and collaboration. Humanity in technology represents an important first step to redesign not only educational and cultural process, but also the structure of business by combining knowledge, behavior, and technological knowledge. The same approach I described, hoping to inspire you, should guide us to deeply root artificial intelligence, but in general, the technological world into the real world. We have to follow the sense of community, the sense of identity, this participation, the beauty, and the ethics. Just like we were able to deeply root our growth, know-how, and distinctive competencies. So my proposal is to bring together professionals in different fields to define topics, issues, questions, to discuss and find common solutions and approaches. The question is if with this proposal we can make some difference. So we can build an alternative model, respect a human-oriented artificial intelligence with without sense with humanity. I really think we can make the difference to a cooperative approach based on education to complexity. Humanists who lead technologies who contribute to the construction of a new way of thinking in a new educational approach. And how can we create a new world in AI accordingly to this alternative model? I think it is possible through ethics, awareness, and sympathy. Yes, because we always think and talk about ethics and awareness, but we don't talk about the sympathy. And the sympathy is usually missing in all technologically projects. So I'm very at the end of my speech. So my suggestion is to start a project together to implement a new project to try to put the humanistic part in technological part. And we think we are the right place to start this project because our DNA, because our experience, and because our sense of community and innovation that we have here in Region.
Thank you so much, Luca. It was absolutely inspiring, and I think that the model of the Reggio Emilia community, the way in which innovation and education is considered, is really a reference for all of us, and it could be a model for all of us. So there are different congratulations in the chat. Just to break the ice, as we say, to wait for questions from the audience. I wanted to ask you something. Of course, as you said, we need to have a critical use of technology in order to avoid certain risks, even if we can't live without technology. It's part of our lives, and we need to take advantage of that. So, do you think, and which is your opinion anyway, on the role of digital education, and which aspects should be more taken into consideration by educators, researchers, our community in this sense, the people that are attending our session, of course, are very much involved in that. So which is your opinion on how to develop and how to cooperate? You represent the corporate area. In my case, I represent university or higher education. Anyway, how can we work and support a proper, let's say, useful digital education?
So I think that the education have to integrate digital skill of the next future, the digital skill of the AE, starting from the 06. It's important for me to start to have a new form of education starting from the preschool, the infant toddler school, because every process of social and digital innovation must go through education. This is the first point. So education is the key concept for the development of a conscious digital community. And it is the enabling factor to increase cognitive and social skill. And the school is the right place to start a new idea of a learning community in the digital world. So this is more or less my thought, because I think it is important to start from 06, because it is important to have in our future people that have experienced from the early school this digital world,
Yes, so this is perfectly in line with also the previous presentation on self-regulated learning. This need to have children reflect on what they are doing and on what they learn, through the process of learning, and in this case, digital skills education. So there's a question in the Q&A session for you, and it's from Maria Rosaria Re, who is asking, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Stu Reggiane model for university students?
For university students,
Yeah.
we have, I don't know the question, because Stu Reggiane is a company that had to build the innovation park, and the relation with the university is
maybe the question is related to the relation that you think possible within this model of a community, of a learning community that actually you build through the innovation park and the involvement of different institutions, but not only. Anyway, as you said, everyone in the local community is some way participating in this innovation park. So what is the question was addressed to understand if there's which are the points of view in relation to the possible cooperation within this model between the innovation park and higher education.
Yes, I didn't talk about higher education because I think is we have a lot of connection with the University of Reggio Emilia, and here in the innovation part we'll have two courses of Unimore, and it is normal for us to collaborate with the university. And I think it is that the simple part for me, because with the university we have a lot of connection, a lot of relationship. We have few connection with companies and with the early school. Yes, we have here in Reggio Emilia the Fondazione Reggio Emilia and the Infant Toddler School 06, but we have to enlarge our relationship with all the level of the school before the university.
Okay, yes, Maria Rosaria confirms that that was a question about. So thank you so much, Luca. I think we ran out of time, but of course you are. Actually, I'm speaking for you, but I think you are available for further questions by the audience, and we all will be here also later on, and tomorrow with a very interesting panel on critical thinking and other interesting sessions. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to you, to all.
And yes, everyone is thanking you, and thanks to all the participating audience. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye bye bye.